Alright everyone, I am back. Let's go ahead and proceed to turn in this quest. She won't wake up. What do we do? I'm surprised they are not giving out any crit or determination materia here. Or even direct hit for that matter. What is this place? Where is everyone? I'm all alone. Even the fairy is gone. Endless silence, endless darkness. Is this what death feels like? It's no use. No one can hear me. How ironic. All those times I wanted peace and quiet, and now that I finally have it, I wish I had someone to talk to. I thought I couldn't stand to be around them. All their interfering and fussing, and yet I was never lonely. But it's no use. Even after everything we went through, my memories still won't come back. There is no future awaiting me, only emptiness. Those memories, they can stay lost forever. If only this pain will leave me. Now, I close my eyes and sink into darkness. Then I'll suffer no more. Gaia! Mother, Father, wake up! I understand now. Why wait for tomorrow to claim us? Gaia, can you hear me? This perfect moment never has to end. I'm not giving up on you, Gaia. Say something. What do you want? Please, I'm begging you. Remember all those things we said we'd do? Like going to the second serving for coffee biscuits. I never... Gaia? I never agreed to anything of the sort. Thank goodness, I was so worried about you. You have to be so loud. Very fell silent, only to be replaced by Reen's voice ringing through my head. I never thought I would be so glad to hear it. Alright, on to the next quest. You've all gone through a lot of trouble on my part. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. Anyway, I've delayed you for long enough. Please, carry on with what you came to do. I'm glad you're back to your usual self, but how are you feeling? Much better now, but something is still bothering me. The fairy spoke to me in a dream, and a stream of memories rushed through my mind. I don't recall anything like this happening before, and I'm not sure what it all means. What sort of memories? I can't make sense of them. They were only brief flashes, seen through someone else's eyes. At least, that's what it felt like. Nymphilia, that is, the first Oracle of Light, once served Hydaelyn as the Word of the Mother. If the Oracle of Darkness is her counterpart under Zodiark, we had best prepare ourselves for the worst. The Knight's return did tip the ethereal balance towards activity, which may have served to awaken the fragment of his power in the first. Having thus roused, he did then fix his gaze upon she who had been marked by darkness, Gaia. Marked or no, Gaia is still her own person. Everything alright? It's nothing. Anyway, let's forget about all that for now. There will be plenty of time to think it through once the last element's restored. If thou believest thy well enough, then I see no reason for delay. Let us forthwith attend to the revitalization of ice. Shiva then, Prince, as the only one here to have actually seen the primal, perhaps you could describe her for us. That hurts! A woman named Ysayle made herself a vessel for Shiva. What's spoken of below, she and the great worm Hraesvelgr shared an undying bond. That was the past. History. Oh yeah, Ozix, I completely agree. I've been waiting for this, and I wasn't sure if we were going to get it in this patch or 2 patches from now. But this is the perfect time to finally bring this out. I'm gonna go with Ysayle. That's who we knew. We didn't know the old Shiva. So, she summoned into her body the imagined essence of someone who lived over 1,000 years ago. Such a thing should be possible. The long since departed Shiva was a source of great inspiration to Ysayle, whose method of summoning differed greatly from any we had previously encountered. By the echo did she bear witness to the deeds of the noble Shiva, and thus was she moved to dedicate her being that self-same cause. 'Twas this devotion that granted her the power of a primal. So, she was able to control it herself. Not getting any funny ideas, are you? Just thinking aloud. That's all. Anyway, we'd better get going. Our journey leadeth to the great glacier situated in the northernmost region of the Empty. I'll get us there as quickly as I can. It's time to draw out the Aether. I was thinking. That I should go with you this time. I want to be the vessel for Shiva. Being still and passive by nature, ice is the element that is the most strongly aligned to light. I'll need to get close and use my own abilities as well as Eden's to draw it out. So that the Oracle of Light becometh the Oracle of Ice. Cannot claim to be in favor of this stratagem, and yet the primal we encountered in the source was summoned in much the same manner. The inherent advantages are undeniable. Absolutely out of the question. Have you forgotten what Prince does to the primals we summon? I'm not about to stand by and watch as he and Reen beat the tar out of each other. In any case, the ether only returns to the empty once the creature's been slain, although it seems you haven't taken that into consideration yet. Presumably, there's a safe way to disperse it, but it's still far too risky. I thought you had more sense, Reen. But it's not as bad as it sounds. Were the demi-form entity as volatile as the primals we have previously summoned, it would be logical to assume that, in her role as conduit, Reen would be hard-pressed to retain control. Prince would have no recourse but to defend himself by any means necessary, else his life be forfeit. I know it's dangerous, but I can't let that hold me back. Please, I've got to try. I don't see why this is even necessary in the first place. You never had to take risks like this for the other elements. Eden possesses almost infinite power, but what would happen if it began acting without my intervention? If it started to feed on the ether, just like other Sin Eaters, it would undo all of our hard work. It is a disconcerting eventuality, and one which cannot be dismissed. I'm worried that even if we realign the elements, things will eventually return to how they were following the flood. But if I train Eden how to nurture the environment, rather than drain the life from it, we can leave it to take care of the empty in our place. I'll channel the ether through myself and show Eden how it's done. This isn't some house pet we're dealing with. If it all goes wrong, then what? I know this all sounds like I'm taking a leap of faith, but it has to be a gamble every step of the way. We've managed to come this far because of faith, in ourselves and in each other. I've made my feelings on the matter perfectly clear, but what say you, Prince? With my memories to guide the summoning, what could possibly go wrong? Reen, I suppose that if you've got the heart set on this, there's no point trying to dissuade you. Just don't do anything reckless, is that clear? As Crystal. This is going to work, I promise. I'll make sure of it. Well, for all our sakes, I certainly hope so. Because if the Primal takes over, it'll be fine. With all of you by my side, I know that whatever happens, it'll work out in the end. All of us. I hope you're not including me. I can't even deal with my own problems, never mind yours. It's enough just knowing you're here. Anyway, I've decided to take a leaf out of your book. I do what I want, when I want. I've made my decision, so now I have to see it through. Yes, but this is a different kettle of fish altogether. Well, the point is that this is what I want, and I'll do whatever it takes to make it work. So, this is how much it means to you. Memories of Shiva envelop your mind. But how much do they stray to Ysael? don't know how, but I can see her too. This might actually work. Eden's verse, Refulgence, now accessible. Alrighty, let's queue up. It looks like this should be pretty quick here. I'm already seeing other players lining up. For this one, I think I'll grab the exquisite beef stew. Let's see what this one is saying here. With the dark entity that haunted Gaia defeated, at least for the time being, you return to the task of restoring balance to ice, the final element. Being the most strongly aligned in favor of stasis, it appears that Reen's direct involvement will be required to properly manipulate the ether. Inspired by tales of Ysayle on the Source, Reen decides to use her own body as a vessel and wield the power of Shiva. I think Eden is sending your thoughts to me. I see Ysayle and Shiva. They only wanted peace, a land where dragon and mankind could live side by side. Both Ysayle and Archbishop Thornton offered their corporeal forms as vessels, unto which the likenesses of preeminent figures from Ishgardian history were projected. However, the nature in which each met their demise is perhaps best not dwelt upon. With so many things left to chance, all I can do is wait and pray. Do you think the 12 can hear me in the first? So, she's not just waiting for the future to arrive, but actually trying to change it. Alright, we're still waiting for some other players to hop into here. While we wait for this to actually pop, let's make our way back over to Idleshire real quick and see if I can finish up what we were working on there. Looks like we've got all the tanks and the DPS. We're just waiting for some healers to pop in now. Insufficient space. There we go. Oh, there it is. Somebody's not ready to go. There we go.
I call upon the power of Shiva. She's lost control! You've got to stop her!
Alrighty. Let's get this started.
You would stoke the fires of conflict. The light shall usher in peace. Impudence!
Looked like they were gonna try to knock me off, but I guess not.
Resplendent ice, grant me strength.
But I think I need to move away from them. Okay, we got ice coming.
Shatter! Shall freeze.
Oh, that looks familiar, doesn't it? Okay, that was a knockback.
The light shall usher in peace. Such impudence!
Alright, that looks like a phase change.
Tranquility must be restored to the land.
It looks like we've been separated from the from half the party here.
off! Light consume you!
I can't help with this one because of that. Mirror, mirror.
Such impudence!
Let's help that healer.
Resplendent eyes grant me strength. Shatter!
Mirror, mirror.
Shatter!
I didn't have a chance with that one.
The light shall usher in peace.
Oh, I'm finally just noticing now there's this marker that's been going out. I haven't been able to see it.
Impudence! Darkness, speak up! Resplendent eyes grant me strength. Shatter!
Darn it, I was turned the wrong way.
Shatter!
So Mirror Mirror seems to duplicate her attack in some way.
Shall usher in peace.
Yep, there's that eye. Whoa! Oh, we are so close here. Alright, I got my dot off at the end.
Such power. I can't. The light. It's too much for her to bear. Ugh, she won't last much longer. Enough of this. Power of darkness, answer my call. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah.
Gaia with the save!
Damn this light! Damn it all! I won't give up! Not on my future. Our future. I want to see what tomorrow will bring. No! We're so close! Do something! Anything!
I'm curious if the LV is gonna do anything. Nope. That was fun. We got all the way to the end. Alright, let's get this done for real this time.
shall usher in peace. Such impudence! Resplendent Paris, grant me strength. Shatter.
Alright, so I'm doubling up on my cooldowns there, just because that comes out so hard.
Blood shall freeze.
Nice, someone dropped that right on me. Alright, I think this was the knockback. Yep. Alright, and then this is going to turn into a square, I think, or something. Nope. Circles.
The light shall usher in peace. Such impudence!
Alright, we're moving on to the second phase where we're split up.
Tranquility must be restored to the land. Speak up!
Okay, that's new.
Light consume you. impudence! Resplendent ice, grant me strength!
Double stacking on cooldowns. Mirror, mirror again. Mirrors on only 2 sides this time. I'm gonna try to lead her away. Oh, nope, that's not right.
The light shall usher in peace. Such impudence! Darkness, be gone! Resplendent ice, grant me strength. Shatter.
Double stacking again.
The light shall usher in peace. Such power, I can't.
It looks like we got everybody up this time, so we should have a good shot at this.
The light! It's too much for her to bear! Ugh, she won't last much longer! Enough of this! Power of darkness, answer my call! Ugh. Ah. Yeah!
let's do this!
Not on my future! Our future! I want to see what tomorrow will bring! No! We're so close!
And down goes Shiva! Perfect timing on that wind-up green. Alright, Eden's verse complete. So, let's see. I went for the gloves before, might as well go for them again. 76 got a good shot at it. Okay, didn't get those. Let's try for the pants next. I'm passing on the chest because I'm going to be getting other things. Alright, that gives me the greaves automatically since people left. Yeah, and I can't get that even though I'm the only one in the instance. Oh well. Green! You were there. I heard you. What happened to Shiva? Is she still in control? No, she's gone. But Gaia... What? That hammer. It matches your dress. I see you're back to your normal, idiotic self. Look, isn't it pretty? Maybe we could take it with us. Ice tends to melt, you know. Not this sort. Well, if you say so. Anyway, it might even make a nice necklace. That's a brilliant idea. Wilt thou not rush to her aid? Perhaps I'm getting a little slow in my old age, because it would seem Gaia's beaten me to it. To think that she would be the one to break the ice. They may have gotten off to a rocky start, but I think they'll make quite the pair. Is that a hint of melancholy I detect in thy voice? Something akin to a pining mother bird whose chicks have flown the nest? Father Bird, if you don't mind. But you're not entirely wrong. Still, when the day finally comes to say goodbye, it hardens me to know she won't be alone. After that, we can go to the second serving for coffee biscuits. Fine, you win. And if they're anything less than perfection itself, I'll never let you live it down. If they're not to your liking, there are plenty of other things to try. I suppose we both deserve a little treat after all that hard work. We certainly do. Though we were laughing as if we had not a care in the world, fleeting though it was, in that moment, I was content. But my life was never meant to be so simple. Referring to the fact that we're not just quite done yet. We still have another 4 bosses in this raid. But that's for a future patch, rather. I'm so sorry, everyone. I clearly have a long way to go before I can handle that kind of power. But we achieved what we set out to do, as I had faith we would. So without further ado, let us return to camp and admire our work. There's the stuff I'm looking for. Let's go with the critical hit. It's life. I can feel all the revitalized elements working in harmony. I've always believed Eden had the power to restore the empty, but I never expected it to happen so quickly. I never did get the hang of summoning primals correctly. Judging by Thancred and Urianger's reactions, it seems most of them were barely recognizable. Far be it from me to worry, but are you sure your memory is all right? Though thou hast grasped the basic principles of summoning, it beareth repeating that such deiform entities are not the product of the memory alone. Nay, myriad other factors contribute to their corporeal manifestation, the process not unlike the techniques employed in creation magic. I wonder if the effects from the rebalanced aether will spread to the rest of the empty. Perhaps we'll just have to wait and see. Besides, I'm sure we could all do with the rest. I must say, Reen, it's refreshing to see you take a more measured approach for a change. Well, if my experience here has taught me anything, it's that I shouldn't rush into things unprepared. And I've also learned that there are some problems that can't be solved alone. Is that so? Since you freed me from Yulmore, I've met all sorts of kind people, who've gone out of their way to help me. I thought that I should do everything in my power to repay their kindness and make the world a better place. But now more than ever, I realize that there's a limit to what I can achieve by myself. Even though I was able to summon Shiva, I couldn't control such vast amount of ether. If Gaia hadn't been there for me, I might never have returned to normal. I could say the same about you. I was trapped in a nightmare, but you freed me. Seems we're more alike than I thought. We might not be able to do everything by ourselves, but if we look out for each other, then we can face our problems together. That's if you don't mind. No, it's fine. Really. If things don't work out, we can always go our separate ways. But on the other hand, if I can resist the urge to punch you whenever you annoy me, which I must say is quite often, I have no objections to staying around. You mean it? Oh, thank you, Gaia. May I suggest we continue the conversation in Amarane? Though the empty may now support it foliage, the land's normalization hath but begun, and to linger overlong still entaileth risks. Is aught the matter, Thancred? Nothing you need worry about. Let's go. I was kind of hoping they would let us survey things a little bit better first. Oh, actually, we can just hop right back in. Let's take a look at our handiwork here. So we definitely do have some grass growing, at least. But yeah, it's like there are patches here that still need to be fixed. And definitely out in the distance, there's still a lot of basically nothing moving out there, so we'll see if it's just time that's needed, or maybe Eden can give things a kick to really get things started. Perhaps grab some of the darkness from the 13th and shove it over here. Before we do anything else, we should report to Yolfort. He'll want to know how we've been getting on in the empty. Speaking of Mordsuk, there was a snack of some sort that caught my eye last time. I can't quite describe it, but it looked squidgy. Despite a strong suspicion that I may live to regret it, I'd like to try one. Oh, I think I know the one you mean. They might not be much to look at, but I bet they taste amazing. Perhaps we could also try a pot of those jelly wrigglers, or whatever they're called. I'll even let you take the first bite. Ew, no thank you. First coffee biscuits, now worms and jelly. Heavens forbid the two of you might actually eat some proper food. Prince, might I ask a favor of thee? Whilst Thancred and I return unto the Crystarium to inform our comrades of our recent exploits, I would have thee accompany Reen and Gaia to Mordsuk. Alright, so back to Mordsuk we go. I trust all is well, Miss Gaia? It will be once we get out of this desert town. If I have to spend another night in that dingy little room, I shall scream. I'm terribly sorry to hear that the accommodation was less than satisfactory. I'll investigate the availability of more comfortable lodgings post-haste. Yes, I think we'll be staying in Mordsuk, at least for the time being. It might take a while for me to write the report, as our expedition was rather eventful. Prince, I really appreciate everything you've done, and I'm sorry for all the trouble I put you through. Still fretting about that, aren't you? What's done is done. Besides, it all worked out in the end, didn't it? You're right. Now, how about that treat we promised each other, ourselves? They might not have coffee biscuits here, but I've heard the Wriggler cakes are to die for. Or was that you'll die from eating them? Only one way to find out, I guess. I'm sure trying the local delicacies will keep us occupied between writing reports and thinking about the next plan of action. Hopefully we'll have another chance to visit the Empty to see how things are coming along. And don't even think about leaving me behind. Alrighty. And more crit, please. To unlock the next quest, you must complete the main scenario quest, Echoes of a Fallen Star. Okay, so then apparently this continues after the main scenario. And what is this? Greetings, Prince. How might I be of service? Talk about Reen's second report. Reen informed me that balance has now been restored to all 6 elements in the Empty. As such, representatives from the Crystarium will be making regular visits to the camp to observe any changes that occur. I shall oversee the delivery of whatever supplies they may require. Once again, Reen has kindly agreed to provide a report of your travails in the Empty, up to and including the encounter with the being known as Shiva. The preliminary verbal account left me gobsmacked, to say the least. Luri, I finally finished. Prince, how goes it? Actually, there was something I wanted to ask you. Don't worry, it's nothing dangerous. I was wondering if you'd like to join Gaia and I for some traditional Mordsuk afternoon tea. And in the meantime, I can read through your report. Now that that's taken care of, let's head over to the tea stall. Before that, there's one more thing. This concerns you, Prince. I found this in Eden's core, and it seemed like it could be important. For all I know, it might even help me get my memories back. But when I look at it more closely, I see images of you swirling around inside it. Whatever this is, it probably means a lot more to you than it does to me. This crystal contains Eden's memories. We've seen of one of these before, haven't we? As you stare intently at the crystal, your mind is overwhelmed with visions of struggles past, twisted and distorted by some unknown force. Whatever is the matter? It's the same as last time. The only explanation I can think of is that Eden's own power altered its memories somehow. But was that before or after they were crystallized? What difference does it make? regardless of how it was made and where it came from. I can't think of any possible use for this thing. If you want it, Prince, it's yours. It looks like I was the one wasting time on this occasion. Let's go and try this tea I've heard so much about. Gaia, wait a moment. Prince, you're still looking a bit green around the gills, so perhaps you can join us next time instead. Anyway, I best catch up with Gaia. While this crystal may not serve as an accurate report of your battles, it provides a glimpse at what might have been. It could even help in mentally preparing yourself for foes you have yet to face. Since it contains images of you and your exploits, it seems only right that you should be the one to safeguard it. Oh, so that's how you access Savage. Okay. Now, supposedly there's another quest around here, but I don't see it. So I'm wondering if it was actually that quest right there. In any case, that pretty much does it for the Raid series. So at this point, let's get back on track with what we were doing in the Alamegan Quarter. And this will resume the main scenario quest that we started into, but then got interrupted by the first of those popping up. Commander Alden awaits us in the Royal Palace, if you would follow me. You.
They're here, Commander.
And I, for one, am grateful that they are. Told you've been busy since our paths last crossed at the Gimlet Dark. Not that I understand half of it. When the Scions spoke of other worlds, I'd struggled to describe what I pictured. Mayhap things would seem clearer were I to hear the tale from your own lips. But I'm afraid the situation will not afford us that luxury. I trust you two require no introduction.
We meet again, hero of Eorzea. Must we repeat this ridiculous display? I pose no threat to you, though what I come to warn you of very well might.
Had he meant to do us harm, I hazard he would have kept to the shadows, and brought more than 2 companions. We need not pretend to be the best of friends, but I hope we can put aside our differences for the present.
As you are doubtless aware, Sir Estinian and I cooperated to rid the world of Black Rose in your absence. Our journey together took us as far as the Imperial Palace, where we witnessed Emperor Varus meet his death at Xenos' hand. Being the sole witnesses to this crime, and in no position to defend our innocence, we were then forced to flee, each pursuing his own avenue of escape. When we were later reunited, Estinian claimed to have encountered an unfamiliar kind of machina during his flight, but to me his description seemed anything but, and upon further investigation I found that I was right. The Empire is developing a new Ultima Weapon.
What, that Allagan monstrosity, created to vanquish primals, with which you yourself once thought to conquer Eorzea?
The same. In my foolishness, I sought to harness its power, and became the Ascians' pawn in so doing. But you know as well as I how that tale ended. The weapon itself, excavated from beneath this very city, was destroyed ere we could fully unravel its secrets, and that should have been the end of it. But unlikely as it sounds, the Empire's efforts to recreate it have somehow borne fruit, primarily through secret research conducted by the 7th Imperial Legion, it would seem.
Wait, the 7th was all but annihilated at Cartano, along with its legatus.
Indeed. Few survived. The 7th, as it is now, has little in common with the Legion led by Vandanis, and its leadership has changed hands several times since. Precisely how this project has continued despite such turmoil, and under whose auspices, remains a mystery. What we do know, however, is that a number of prototypes have been produced, and that one of them is on its way to Eorzea. We attempted to stop it, but it was all we could do to slow its progress, so we resolved instead to bring you warning.
And right glad are we that you did, though it soundly dashed our hopes that tensions might ease at last.
As it is, we've begun to strengthen our presence in the Gimlet Dark, and are assembling a force to meet the coming threat. A force with you in its vanguard, I hope. Before you say anything, I know full well you have pressing concerns of your own. Your comrades remain in peril, and I would not ask you to forsake them. But the fact remains that you, and you alone, have faced the Ultima Weapon, and emerged victorious. We need you. And so, when the time comes, if your comrades can spare you, I bid you lend us your strength. I've assigned an officer to await your word.
The Ascians' downfall was to be the work of my remaining days, but it was my hand that kindled these flames, and I cannot allow them to spread any further. I will do what I must to see this mistake consigned to history once and for all, even if it means begging your aid. The Fates will enjoy the irony, even as I endure the ignominy.
I too shall make for the border and offer my skills, meager though they seem in such company. Mayhap we shall meet there anon.
Though we can ill afford to ignore the coming of a new Ultima Weapon, our friend's plight grows ever more precarious, and none save you can join them in the first. I only hope you are not forced to make a choice.
Choice to save the Scions versus saving Eorzea. An interesting choice, to be sure. Anyway, let's speak to Kryle again. As ever, the way forward is paved with difficult decisions. We can ill afford to ignore the threat of a new Ultima Weapon, but with each passing day, the plight of the Scions grows ever more perilous. You cannot stay for a debriefing on the Ultima Weapon. I will not stop you. I only ask that you confer with me before returning to the First. I take it you're ready to return to the First? Then I would ask that you apprise the others of recent events here in the Source, namely Xenos' return and the development of a new Ultima Weapon. As for their bodies, you may assure them Master Matoya, and I will continue doing what we can to keep their corporeal aether stable. Safe travels, Prince. I hope to see you and the other Scions soon. Alright. Let us make our way over to the Crystarium. And we'll take the teleport over to the Dorsal Gate. And make our way up the steps. I'm gonna need to repair fairly soon. You've come at a most opportune time, my friend. I've made something of a breakthrough in my research on the soul, and a means to return the Scions home. I trust you too have been making good use of your time? Ill tidings from the source, you say? Then I will summon the others that we might all be apprised of the situation.
Now that we are all here, what news from the source?
Those Garleans.
A new Ultima Weapon. We must count ourselves lucky that Gaius has pledged his assistance.
While this is indeed a worrying development, I think the state of the Empire as a whole greater grounds for concern. With the Emperor slain and Xenos returned, it is impossible to predict how matters will unfold in Garlemald. The Ultima Weapon may be but the first of many unpleasant surprises.
The situation beareth closer observation, of that there is no doubt, and doth compound our need to return unto the source.
Then let us address that issue. Our long search for a means to see you safely home may well be nearing its conclusion. Thanks in large part to Urianger and Beklug's invaluable insight, we have succeeded in fashioning a vessel for the journey.
We set out to create a crystalline container retaining the more useful properties of white aurosite, but without its regrettable limitations. And, after a good deal of trial and error, we made one. An ark for soul and mind both, that will allow your incorporeal self in its entirety to be ferried between worlds. A spirit vessel, if you will.
However?
Though the vessel is possessed of the requisite qualities to hold mind and memory, it wanteth yet for a means to receive of them. For that, we must needs imbue it with the Exarch's innate gift.
A gift that lives on only through the blood of the Allagan Emperors, which certainly does not flow within aurosite or any other crystal.
Just so, milady. The blood serveth as a conduit of sorts. In its absence, memory cannot pass from mind unto mind, nor from flesh unto crystal.
That being the case, we must either alter the process of inheritance so as to require no such thing, or determine a means by which my blood may permeate the vessel. I am hopeful that the records found within this tower will yield the knowledge we require to pursue one or the other of these avenues.
As well you should be. The Allagan's body of etherological research is extraordinary. I can scarce believe it the work of ages past. But its underlying principles are not so very different from those of my own field of study. Given time, we will find the answers we seek.
I know that you can ill afford to wait, and it pains me that I must ask you to do so. I can only reaffirm my promise to you that a solution will be found. Whatever it takes, I will see you safely home.
My apologies.
I do hope you haven't come to tell us that mortal peril fast approaches.
No. I had hoped to speak with the Warrior of Darkness. But there is no need to cut short your meeting on my account. I will be waiting outside.
Why not speak in here? She knows I don't mind. Unless she didn't want to.
Perhaps I might accompany you. Though I am woefully ill-qualified to assist in the Exarch's research, I may yet be of some use to Lena.
Alright, let's see what we got here. Let's go with the rare roast beef. I must confess, while I enjoy my fair share of scholarly research, it would be good to step outside for a spot of fresh air. Now then, shall we go and speak with Lena? Looks like they're right down here. We have little time, so I will be brief. A Sin Eater has been sighted in Lakeland, and I ask for your assistance in slaying it. A Sin Eater? I had heard some few yet remained after the knight had returned, but perhaps we should call the others? That will not be necessary. It is only a single Sin Eater. A simple task for our guard, I should think. That said, I believe fighting alongside the Warrior of Darkness would be a valuable experience for them. Peace can lead to complacency, and they gain nothing from an easy victory. But you do not underestimate your foes, however harmless they may seem. My men would do well to learn from your example. Let's be about it then. Excellent. Then let us make for Fort Job. Alright, teleporting over to Fort Job. Here we are. If you would wait here a moment, I will gather the others. You may not remember, but you have met these soldiers once before, though only in passing. Long have they awaited the opportunity to fight at your side. I was at death's door the day after the Sin Eater's attack. If you and yours hadn't come along, I'd likely have stepped through, and I wouldn't have been alone. Your courage and selflessness is something we all aspire to. I too was there that terrible day. My friend was transformed into a Sin Eater before my very eyes, and I had no choice but to cut her down. The thought of returning to the field, of holding a blade again, it filled me with dread. But that is no way to honor her or my comrades, and so I have returned. I swear I will not let you or anyone else down from this day forward. A pleasure to meet you, sir, truly. It seems like only yesterday I watched as you took flight astride an Amaro to go and save the Oracle. Strange to think the Yulmoran soldiers we once locked blades with are now on our side. But we will do our utmost to keep the peace here in Lakeland. Seem to be missing one. My apologies, Captain Lena. An elderly gentleman asked that I escort him to Clearmount. It took longer than I anticipated. I'll not begrudge your decision to help those in need, but a soldier must be punctual, especially when we play host to honored guests. It won't happen again. The name's Sailor. I'm sure you don't remember, but we met once before in the infirmary. I asked you to deliver a message to the Exarch and the Warrior of Darkness. Little did I know I was already talking to him. Don't give up. Don't give in. I keep those words close to my heart, and the boundless, beautiful skies above serve as a reminder of their importance. My friend got to see the Knight's return shortly before he passed. He left this world with a smile, satisfied with a glimpse of what was to come. But there are countless others who weren't so fortunate. They gave their lives for the promise of a future they'll never know, and so it falls to us to do everything we can to fulfill that promise. No matter what happens, we won't give up. We won't give in. Your heroism has inspired all of our guardsmen in much the same manner. Our scouts at the northern staging point have not had the pleasure of meeting you in person. Let's not keep us waiting. Alright, to the north we go. That was a Sin Eater.
Did you slay this Eater? Your orders were to await the main force before engaging.
No, Captain. It wasn't us, I swear it. A man came out of nowhere and cut it down before we knew what was happening.
By himself? Certainly it is no light warden, but nevertheless.
It's true. Felled it with a single swing of his axe, he did. I've never seen anything like it. So I says to him, "Who are you, the warrior of bleeding darkness?" And he says, "No, I'm a warrior of light." And that was it. Buggered off as quick as he came. A warrior of light?
Why would someone go around calling himself that, though? It was those bastards who caused the flood. I mean, if you were going to pretend to be anyone, it'd be him, the Warrior of Darkness.
Eh? Oh, I didn't know. It's an honor.
Since the Eater is no longer a threat, our work here is done. Return to your posts.
I had hoped to fight at your side today, but I'll continue to follow your example, and may we meet again.
I apologize for the wasted journey.
It seems I overestimated the threat. As for this warrior of light, I do not know who would be brazen enough to take that mantle for his own. Whatever it may once have meant, it is forever tainted by the association with the Flood. The Exarch told me the truth of Ardbert and his comrades' deeds, and I am aware they played some part in your own triumph. But to most, they are synonymous with the calamity that befell this world. Still, if this man is minded to destroy Sin Eaters, I may forgive him his unfortunate choice of alias. But that is neither here nor there. I thank you for accompanying me.
With that concluded, shall we return to the Crystarium? There is a proposal I should like to make.
Forgive me. There is one more thing. A personal concern of mine. I had hoped you might have a moment to speak privately.
Take your time. I shall go on ahead.
Alrighty, before we speak to Lena, I do want to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break here, at which point we will then continue on with the main scenario quest and see what she wants to talk about. So please stand by, everybody. I will be right back. Alright, everyone. Let's go ahead and get this started once again here. Let's speak to Lena and see what she has on her mind.
I will not mince words. This matter concerns the Exarch. Though his countenance belies his age, his demeanor never has. He has seen more than any man should and grown ever more weary with time. But I see I give the wrong impression. While it is true he attempted to open a letter with a salmon fillet the other evening, we are not here because I suspect his mind is deteriorating. Nor do I believe him to be so maddeningly unconcerned by the prospect of his own death as he once was. Indeed, the opposite is true. It is for this reason that I seek your advice. Since he returned from the Tempest, the Exarch is not as he was. He seems a different man, a younger man. I know not the details of his research, but when I saw him at work recently, there was a glint in his eye that I had never seen before. He looked happy. It was as if he had peered into the future and for the first time found joy there. Though it gladdens me to see him thus, I wonder if I should not keep my distance. I fear that my presence will only anchor him to the past, remind him of all the pain that came before.
He's lost without you, you know, and he misses you already.
Are you sure? Then perhaps we might remain as we were. As we have always been. What a relief. In that case, I will have to speak with him about the amount of time he is spending at work. This research is important, I know, but if he refuses to consider his own health, I will have to consider it for him.
Alright, that quest is complete. Let's see what Lena has next. I will not keep you. You and your comrades have much to discuss. I will see the others back to their posts. Alright, let's make our way back over to the Crystarium. And once again, let's make our way up to the Docile Gate and head inside. The others were quite shocked to hear what we found in Lakeland. But now that you're here, there is a proposal I shall like to make. I have been spending a great deal of time in the Cabinet of Curiosity, and of late I have noted more and more people perusing books on history, the years leading up to the Flood in particular. I suspect they wish to know more about the Warriors of Light, as well they should, but nearly everything I've come across describes them as sin-eaters or worse. Regardless of whether or not this Warrior of Light is who they claim to be, I worry that their sudden appearance, in conjunction with this renewed interest in their predecessors, may lead to growing unrest and fear. If the people of the Crystarium seek the truth, I say we give it to them. I too can attest to the falsehoods found within full many of the Cabinet's tomes, with nary a mention of the noble deeds of Ardbert and his comrades. To be fair, they bear some responsibility for the flood, but when the tale is told again and again over the course of a century, I am not surprised to see their roles distorted and them painted as villains. Were it not for the records stored within the Crystal Tower, I would have had no reason to question the narrative. Unfortunately, that knowledge was of no use, for when I arrived here in the first, their reputation had already been irreparably tarnished. That said, there still remained those who worked tirelessly to defend their good name in those early days following the flood. Considering all the good they had done, I find it a wonder they needed defending at all. They brought to justice the man who misused my knowledge to bring about the fall of Volbert. That such heroes could be spoken of in the same breath as said sin-eaters is absurd. Under normal circumstances, I would agree, but as time passed, those who knew firsthand of their deeds dwindled. In the end, only one truth remained, that they were the cause of the flood. The world on the brink of oblivion, it was all too easy for the warriors of light to become villains deserving only the resentment and hate. At that point, the truth mattered little. It would not change their lot. Thanks to all of you, however, their lot has changed, and now they may heed the long-forgotten truth. You claimed it was Ardbert who helped you overcome Emmett Selch, correct? Such a revelation would do well to sway the hearts of those who know him only as a villain. I have shared this with a select few, but one and all must be told of his sacrifice. To that end, I say we proceed with Althanil's plan. We call together the people of the Crystarium and recount to them the true tale of the Warriors of Light and the flood that followed in their wake. Well, what say you, Prince? I wish we had done this sooner. In hindsight, I agree, but better late than never, no? Ekdar, might I ask you to continue working with Big Luke on our means of returning home? The rest of us will see to gathering the people of the Crystarium in the XIV. We have to reach out to anyone and everyone who might be willing to lend an ear. With any luck, word will spread and more will accompany them. So, we need to find people willing to listen. Looks like that's gonna send us all over the Crystarium here. Let's hit the Aethernet shard here. Let's first make our way over to the musical universe markets. Because as I said before, I need to prepare. All set. Come to browse wares in the market, have you? Well, I can guarantee you'll have no trouble finding what you need. Whatever it may be, under Yulmore's leadership, trade has never been more prosperous. Word is that fellow from Daedalus Stoneworks has taken over as the mayor. Did he really? Little wonder business is booming the way it is. I imagine it won't be long before all of reaps the benefits. But you've not come to talk about the market. Something on your mind? I see. The Exarch did mention they have something to do with your returning the knight to Nordrhein. Alright, consider my interest piqued. Alright, next let's head down here to the south. Well, well, to what do I owe the pleasure? Whatever it is, I must ask you be brief. With the night return, visitors have been flocking to the Crystarium, and I find myself too busy by half. I don't mind it, though. Seeing the stairs so full of life and excitement, one can almost forget the flood ever happened. The Warriors of Light. Yes, the Exarch had mentioned them before, but everyone knows them now as the Cardinal Virtues. Or are you suggesting there's more to it than that? Well, you've yet to steer us wrong, but I'm willing to hear what you have to say. Alright, next one is going to take us to the north. So let's actually head over to the main Aetheryte Plaza. Prince, my, what a wonderful surprise. Though I hope your being here doesn't mean someone's been hurt. Thanks to you, I've had far fewer patients coming through my door of late. Which is a shame, come to think of it. I've had fewer opportunities to test my new medicines. I jest, of course. It's actually been quite pleasant to have a few moments to myself now and again. Truth about the Warriors of Light, but the Exarch has already spoken with me about them. Well, if there's more to the tale, I'd very much like to hear it. Alright, moving on. Looks like we need to head upstairs for the next one. And then I believe the last one is actually going to be near the library. Well, well, what a coincidence. I was just reading over a letter I received from Grenoble not long ago. He says a visitor from the Crystarium found him at the bottom of the ocean, and that he inspired him to reach new artistic heights. Well, I can only think of one person capable of both feats, though I'd say the latter is far more impressive. To think fate could bring the two of you together in such a place. I'm sorry, you mean the Exarch didn't tell us the whole story of the Warriors of Light? Well, whatever he's left unsaid, I'm all ears. Alrighty. And then, like I said, we need to head downstairs now. Cabinet of Curiosity. No, this can't be. Surely there is at least one book here that does not cast the Warriors of Light and their deeds in such a negative light. Oh, Prince, forgive me. The Cabinet of Curiosity has been bustling with visitors of late, but I fear our repository lacks for the knowledge they seek. People wish to know the truth of the Flood, of the Warriors of Light. I have searched high and low, but alas, every account portrays them as no better than sin-eaters, abominations worthy only of scorn and resentment. I know they were not always judged so harshly, yet I can find no proof. I dare call myself a librarian. You would address the people and tell them the truth of the Warriors of Light, of the Flood? How wonderful! You have regaled me with the tale once before, but I should love to hear it again. Oh, and you may be assured I will not come alone. Alrighty, so we need to speak to Alphino now. And they are by the Docile Gate. There you are. Between the four of us, I dare say we've swept the Crystarium from top to bottom. Now we need but wait for the people to gather.
Yes, this looks to be nearly everyone. Let us begin, shall we? Though I am usually the first to hold forth at such events, I think on this occasion that honor should fall to you.
They would be more inclined to take the word of the Warrior of Darkness.
Indeed. In light of the subject matter, who better than thee to speak these truths?
Wicked White? The Warriors of Light did all that?
So they never... I mean, they only ever wanted to help. And when everything they'd done turned to ash, they still carried on.
They gave everything to stop the Flood. First their lives, then their souls. And they managed it too, in the end. They saved us. And we cursed their names.
This should go a long way towards clearing the air.
Now, which one are you from?
Impossible.
I take it I'm not imagining this then.
I definitely see something. You don't think it's a ghost, do you?
Nay, Yonder standeth no bloodless apparition, but a warrior of light and darkness both. Ardbert.
Or is that an Ascient in his clothes?
What in the world?
It's you! The one who slew the Eater!
That it should be the warrior of darkness who brought the truth to light. You've saved me a fair bit of time, though I have a few words of my own to say, if I may. People of the Crystarium, I am Ardbert, one of those you know as a warrior of light.
That's impossible. You should be dead.
Aye, that I should. But as the world has been given new life, so too have I. I know not why I, and I alone, have been gifted this chance. But I do know this. Only by the will of the star itself could such a miracle come to pass. The hero who stands before you now, the warrior of darkness, is not of this world. And the day will come when he must return to his home. But this land is our home. And if it is to remain so, now and forevermore, it is we who must protect it. The time to rely on saviors from afar has passed. It is you who must rise. You who must become the new warriors of light.
What? Us? Warriors of light?
None of us were born heroes, my friend. I was only ever a man with a thirst for adventure. But wherever my journeys took me, I was invariably confronted with the same choice. To lend what aid I could to those in need, or not. And I always chose the former. Any one of you could do the same. All you need is the will to help your fellow man, and the resolve to see it through.
From thine own lips did we learn of Ardbert's fate, and by thy countenance I gather thou art not inclined to recant thy testimony.
Indeed. I absorbed him.
Yet whosoever this man may be, his words hold truth and resonate with the citizenry besides. For us to voice our doubts here and now would serve but to sow disquiet. 'Twere better we retired unto the ocular and there discuss this matter in private.
Go. I will stay here and watch.
So, that is a warrior of light of the first. I've not had the pleasure of making his acquaintance, but as you all seem to be in agreement, I gather this is no simple case of mistaken identity.
As far as I was able to discern, that was indeed Ardbert. It has been a long time, but not that long. Could he truly have been resurrected as he claims?
It looks and sounds like him, but it isn't him.
Ardbert did entrust his very soul unto thee. I see no reason to question thy judgment.
Nor I. To my eyes, your ether burns as brightly as the day you slew Emmett Selk. That is proof that he is with you still.
Yet that which standeth now before the people is far more than a passing imitation. I am reminded of the cardinal virtues, though a sin-eater he is not. Which leaveth but one plausible explanation.
That he is an Ascian.
Called it!
Given their fondness for posthumous possession, I would have to agree. From what I understand, the Warriors of Light were laid to rest in Yulmore by those whom they had aided in life. At the time, some few still remembered them as heroes. Needless to say, 4 of them were subsequently exhumed to serve as the virtues. And if one knew where to look, Ardbert too would not have been difficult to find.
Assuming then that this is indeed the work of an Ascian, my mind inevitably turns to the last remaining paragon to survive the Sundering.
Elidibus. That Xenos hath reclaimed his own flesh is known. Thus evicted from his borrowed form, and cognizant no doubt of Emmett Selk's failure here in the first, 'tis quite possible the emissary chose Ardbert for his next vessel.
Inhabiting the flesh of the fallen? My, that is unsavory. And they do this often, you say?
Verily, for they possess no corporeal forms of their own. In what one may term their natural state, none save those gifted with the echo can perceive them. Indeed, when Elidibus intruded upon the waking sands, his presence did go unmarked by all save Minfilia and the Warrior of Light. On that occasion I myself remained ignorant of his coming until after his departure. It was only at a later juncture, when he deigned to appear before me in borrowed flesh, that I was finally able to take the measure of him. In such puppetry do the Ascians engage when they seek to influence the course of history.
And they have gained much by it. Emmett Selk single-handedly built the Garlean Empire in this manner, while the Hebrea came close to conquering Eorzea, having taken possession of Thancred's living body.
Yet it must needs be noted that the Ascians cannot avail themselves of all mortal vessels. For were they able to do so, none would serve as a better pawn than our own redoubtable champion. Mayhap the blessing of light shieldeth Hydaelyn's chosen from Ascian influence. Or mayhap other forces are at work. We cannot say for certain.
Whatever the reason, I hope it holds true. I dare not contemplate what might come to pass otherwise.
Is it not peculiar, then, that Ardbert's mortal remains should be susceptible, given that he was once a warrior of light? Or did the final departure of his soul make it possible, perhaps? Regardless, to hear an Ascian use him to call forth new warriors of light boggles the mind.
He intends to create another flood.
Elidibus hath ever been an enigma, his ostensible purpose being to preserve the balance between light and dark. When he made overtures towards me, however, I was afforded a glimpse behind the mask of the self-appointed emissary. I shall not defend mine actions, undertaken in pursuit of a better understanding of our foe as either wise or prudent. Nevertheless, what little I did glean may now prove useful.
This is going back to way, way in the past, back in Heaven's Ward, I believe.
Elidibus possesseth a subtle mind, practiced in the art of manipulation. That he coaxed this star's most valiant heroes as far as the source with naught save half-truths is no trifling feat. And now I believe he doth employ his skills once more to some as yet unknown end. Though naught is certain, should my suspicions prove true, we shall have need of all our wits if we are to uncover and thereafter thwart his plot.
Agreed. 'Tis plain that simply speaking out against him will not avail us. At best, it would only serve to confuse the people. And I would hesitate to do anything which might tarnish Ardbert's reputation once more, nor yours by association. That being the case, it may be wise to keep a covert eye on this Ardbert's movements, as we attempt to discern his purpose and how best to mitigate his influence.
His performance appears to have concluded. What now? Go back out and follow him?
Twould appear Master Alphino already hath pursuit in mind, and I suspect one pair of eyes shall better serve our cause than half a dozen. Let the rest of us maintain an inconspicuous distance, for the present at least.
Alright, let us grab... the robe lettuce salad. You did well to dispel these falsehoods surrounding the Warriors of Light and their actions prior to the Flood, though I must say the reappearance of Ardbert, or rather one who appropriated his identity, was a rather curious development. He is an imposter, of that there is no doubt, but to the masses he will appear as a hero returned from the grave. After the Warriors of Light were laid to rest in Yulmore, the people prayed fervently for the gods to deliver them from their plight, prayed that these fallen heroes be born again for their sacrifices. What bitter irony. I, for one, would like to know why Ardbert urged the people to become Warriors of Light themselves. Ere we take action, we must needs ascertain his intent. Let us pray that Master Alphino returneth soon with that most essential of knowledge. For now, I think it best to apprise Thancred and Reen of our efforts. When we do confront Ardbert, we shall no doubt have need of their strength. Agreed, and I think it prudent we all take measures to prepare for what's to come. Beakalug and I will continue our research into how we might improve the spirit vessel, that it might one day carry you home. Then I think it's time I return to the Great Wood. Until now, everything we have learned of the Ascians has been handed to us at their leisure. That was one of Emmett Selch's unique fallings. I have no reason to think Elidibus will be as forthcoming. Fortunately, I recently received word from Fanau that heretofore unexplored chambers have been discovered deep within the Katana Rovell. Almet believes the relics within tell of a great calamity that befell an ancient civilization. That of the Ascians, perhaps. They may lead us to the truths we seek. Would you care for company? I wouldn't dream of going without you. When you are ready, make for Fanau. Almet and her sisters will be expecting us. Then let us be about our tasks. Pray give my regards to the V's. Alright, over to Fanao. Welcome, allies of Ronka. We have accomplished much since last you came. With the Light Warden dead and its minions dispersed, we have at last reclaimed our hunting grounds near Raktika Falls. It was there that we discovered more ruins. Although we ran afoul of no traps while exploring its halls, we determined that the innermost chambers were warded by magic. We all were in agreement. Before any investigation could proceed, you should be summoned. We are grateful that you did. From what you have told me, I strongly suspect that the wisdom my comrades and I seek can be found within. This wisdom could prove invaluable, for we may soon face a foe whose greatest asset is our ignorance. I see. Then it is good that you have come, for Ronka was once home to the greatest of weapons, knowledge and understanding. And it is our duty to ensure you and yours do not want for either. That said, we must proceed with caution. To have reached the inner chambers unmolested suggests a more formidable deterrent yet lies within. Come now, surely any threat sleeping within the ruins pale in comparison to those we have faced thus far. This is not a game, sister. You should not be so eager to run headlong into danger. Oh? And who was it pining for the return of our allies that we might venture into the ruins, clutching her staff at night, wishing it were? You promised not to tell. Then I suggest we be going. Get back here. Remind me, exactly how old are you and your sisters? On second thought, perhaps it's for the better I do not know. Pray forgive their overzealous nature. None save we three have been privileged to escort you and yours into the ruins and bear witness to its secrets. Their hearts now burn with a curiosity that's not easily satiated. Please, you needn't apologize. As a seeker of knowledge myself, I understand full well their enthusiasm. And if not for your sedulous efforts to protect the ruins, we would not be afforded this opportunity. Speaking of which, I believe I have kept you away from the ruins long enough. Come, let us make for the Katana Ravel. Hey MV, thanks for stopping by. I'm actually on Crystal. On Balmung. And I don't have any intention of running Savage content, to be honest. My focus is more on PSO2, but Final Fantasy XIV is just relaxing and... what can I say? I love the story. Looks like we've got a mini dungeon here, or something. Duty calls, I guess. It is most strange for these halls to be left unguarded. Have care when breaking the seal on the chamber door. Danger surely awaits us on the other side. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Alrighty.
Come. Our new discoveries are to be found this way.
The people of Ronka are known to have venerated animals, but these features do not match those of any indigenous species. This is no common beast. Though that much is plain from its proportions.
Lifelike, is it not? One could almost imagine it breathed.
Why you... Ugh.
This owl, by contrast, seems no different from the others we've seen.
The sealed door lies ahead. As you see, one statue is missing. I expect we are meant to replace it as before.
So just grab the one from over there?
Too simple. There will be some additional defense mechanism. Just a moment. There are words carved into the stone. He who would disturb a hero's deserved slumber shall instead waken the beast and know his folly. Wait! Don't!
What? But I only... What is happening?
That's why you don't touch things, so you read everything.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, it lives!
Why am I not surprised? Prepare yourselves.
Ancient civilization, cards. Anybody getting a Yu-Gi-Oh feeling here? You trespass mortal upon sacred ground. In retribution, 4 souls have I bound. Yet to heroes proven, learned, and wise, a comrade's soul shall be their prize. If you would see theirs set free, answer me these riddles 3. Deft of paw, with kin of thy, those sought apart. What? Betterment of the whole do our efforts to cry. What am I? Let's see. Deft of paw. Deft of pie with kin of vibe, though sought apart, betterment of the whole do our efforts to descry. What am I? Honestly, it's been too long since I've been in the area. But I'm leaning maybe the Opa Opa? Indeed, the Opa Opa is keen and shrewd, the spirit of ingenuity, by whose guidance the Ronkins did prosperity pursue. The riddle's answer you did discern, and thus to you a soul returns. With fearsome fang I travel with pack, together we find harmony, thus for peace our land does not lack. What am I? Fearsome fang I travel with pack. It's gotta be the wolf. Indeed, 'twas the spirit of the wolf their doctrines praise, that they would know peace and harmony to the end of their days. The riddle's answer you did discern, and thus to you a soul returns. On my belly do I crawl, by my strength does prosperity reign within our hall. What am I? On my belly do I crawl. Well, that's going to be the serpent. Indeed, the dread serpent turned protector, lured to slumber ere it tear the world asunder. Riddle's answer you did discern, and thus to you a soul returns. So now what? We still have Y'shtola. Desire you that which I yet claim? Then we shall play another game. A test of mind and memory. Choose wisely, and you all may yet go free. Twixt these talismans hide friend and foe. Choose your companions well, or sorrow know. Looking to see if there are any differences in them. But I'm not immediately seeing any. Twixt these talismans hide friend and foe. Choose your companions well, or sorrow no. Alright, so... I found Y'shtola. Your comrades are assembled, together at last. Yet still there remains one trial you must pass. If you would glean the knowledge enshrined in this earth, I would first take the measure of your worth. Hey, Twisteria. one worthy of she who the Ronkins extolled must be of mind, body, and soul. Must be strong of mind, body, and soul. Ah, okay, so we were meant to fight. Got it. I was like, am I supposed to select one of my companions? But no, I just need to fight. Simon. Victory off begs sacrifice, but which of you would pay the price? Same thing again, huh?
This is going to leave a mark. I will not hold back. Let us see how you handle this.
Alright, so there's poison in the air. And here come the ads.
I will not hold back.
Almost have them down. Well fought, hero. The trial is complete. The way is open, and thus I concede defeat.
Twould seem the magics have returned us. How polite. Now, what have we learned?
Ah, we were bound to run into a living statue eventually. And now we can open the door.
He who would disturb a hero's deserved slumber. A tomb, just as I thought. Befitting a hero.
She is Vis. Could it be the Archmage Tiuna? A legendary hero of Ronka, as you surmised. The tales tell of how she smote entire armies with a single incantation. So potent was her spellcraft, though she ever fought in the name of peace.
I thought them no more than tales. To think she really existed.
Well, I for one always believed.
I wonder. By the light of fallen stars, great power awakens.
Tiuna was not only a master of spellcraft. It is said she could see truths long lost and hear the voices of men's hearts.
Naught less than the echo. In which case, none of this is mere coincidence. A shower of stars setting the sky aflame. And in both this world and the source, we find individuals within whom a mysterious power awakened at the sight. We can never unpick the why of it. Now, however, I believe we might. Does the scene depicted here not resemble the one we saw when we first ventured into the Katana Ravel? Moreover, does it not recall that which Emet-Selch invited us to witness in Amarot? The final days. If, as the Exarch's research suggests, soul and mind share a fragile yet profound bond, might it not be possible for an event to leave such a deep imprint upon the soul that it could be perceived eons later, given a suitable trigger? The echo defies explanation by conventional etherological theory, or shall we say modern etherological theory. But if it is a power that once belonged to the ancients, to souls yet undivided, it would seem I have entered the realm of pure speculation, and I call myself a scholar. I shall refrain from making any further wild claims until such time as I have evidence. Still, I cannot choose but be reminded of our experience in Amarot.
Then you must recall Emmett Selch's dying request.
Remember us.
History is learned, not lived. We have always protected the tales of Ronka, just as we have protected this place. But we are mindful of what our mothers taught us. We see the past through our own eyes, and speak of it with our own words. Thus do we come to understand it in our own way. But this is not the same as remembering.
Your mothers were wise. Though we witnessed the final days, our impressions cannot fail to be colored by our own experiences and expectations. Those who lived through it would have perceived the event quite differently. We must bear in mind that it is no simple matter to keep the truth alive, or it will die with Emmett Selk and his kin. But we have disturbed Tuna long enough. Fanau will serve similarly well as a venue for our contemplations.
By your pensive expression, I take it the tomb has given you much to think about. That is well. In time, the knowledge you have gleaned will lead to understanding, and thus arm you for what is to come. Before you leave, however, I would speak again of the teachings of our forebears, of histories learned, not lived. The legend of Tiona and her exploits have been told countless times over the centuries, yet as it is handed from one generation to the next, the story changes. With each telling of the tale, there are new flourishes. Details changed or lost. We can never truly know how she lived, for we were not there to see it. But we are here now to bear witness to your life. We have seen the change you have wrought, the echoes that will endure long after you are gone. And though it too will change in time, I swear to you, we shall do our best to preserve your story. I hope you'll forgive me if I don't make an oath of my own, but I think it goes without saying we could never misspeak of your heroism. Perish the thought. So long as we are here, there are none among the V's who will not know of all you have done for Nordvrent. We are not deserving of such reverence, but we are grateful all the same. You can be certain we will have our own tales to tell of the great guardians of Raktika and the ruins of Ronka. I pray you safe travels, then. As ever, we shall await your return with open arms. Although we learned not of the Ascians, the insight we gained into the Echo made our trip worthwhile. Before we return to the Crystarium, however, there's a small matter I would attend to in Slitherbow. Might I trouble you to come with me? Thank you. After we arrive, we should have a brief word with Runar. Slitherbow it is. Prince, it is so good to see you. You've arrived at a most opportune time. I was preparing a pot of my famous stew. Come, I will ready a place for you. I'm sorry, Runar, but we haven't the... Please, I insist. It will only take a minute. My apologies, Prince. It seems our return to the Crystarium will be delayed. But perhaps only for a bit, if you assist me with my work. I say work, but it is rather more a chore. I must clean my chambers here in Slitherbow from top to bottom. If you would be so kind as to go and fetch a broom from Esgir, we might finish before Runar is done cooking. Alright then, a broom it is. A broom for Master Motoya? I cannot imagine why she would have need of such a thing, but here you are. It is old but sturdy, and sure to suffice. I seem to have lost the exit to this place. There it is. I need to put like a light or something over there. I trust this gear was able to find a broom for us. Let us hand it over. Well worn. Good. This would prove difficult otherwise. Though I must say, I think I did rather well for not having a broom thus far. Yes, well, you weren't buried beneath a veritable avalanche of books when you entered, were you? Right. Anyway, it is time I finished cleaning with the help of that broom. You didn't think I'd do it the old-fashioned way. The broom is more than capable of sweeping by itself. Or, rather, it will be. Time to rise, to swish and sweep. A tidy chamber you must keep. To this task you shall be bound, until no dust is to be found. In this one particular respect, I've no objections to following in Master Motoya's footsteps. In future, I may need you to remind me the pursuit of knowledge does not preclude other equally important duties, such as maintaining clean quarters for said pursuit. I will dearly miss this place, these people. Master Motoya, pardon the interruption, but the stew is ready. Interesting place to have stew when it's raining. Is something troubling you? You've been rather quiet. No, everything is fine, I assure you. It has been a long day, is all. I see. Y'shtola, thank goodness you're still here. Alphino, I thought you were following Ardbert. I was, though I'm sad to say I lost track of him shortly after entering these woods. He seems determined to traverse every ilm of Nordrand in his quest to spread the truth of the Warriors of Light and the Flood. And it seems news of your address at the Crystarium precedes him at every destination, making his task all the more simple. It remains to be seen what the end he encourages the people to become Warriors of Light themselves. But there is no denying that his words have struck a chord with many. Well, we're all agreed that this is just another Ascian ploy, yes? They've commandeered corpses before, and to no good end. I see no reason to think this time is any different, especially when it is that of a fallen Warrior of Light. I doubt we'll learn more if we remain a step behind. His next destination is, in all likelihood, Slitherbow. Alice, are you certain you should be here? If you're concerned about Halric and the others, you needn't be. Their treatment is going well, but progress is slow and exhausting, for all of us. The best thing I can do now is let them rest. So, I believe we were about to discuss how to arrange a meeting with our would-be Warrior of Light. Before visiting any towns or villages, Ardbert would hunt down and slay a nearby Sin Eater to earn the locals' trust. The best chance of getting ahead of him is to find one before he does. Thankfully, Thancred and Reen are returned from the Empty and have taken up the search. Reen believeth one may lurk beneath the waves, beneath the boughs of woven oak. And that is where we will start our search. Master Mortoya. A warm bowl of stew will be awaiting your return. I look forward to it. Alright, we are headed to the northwest, it looks like.
If you were hoping to vent your frustrations on our Issa friend here, I can only apologize.
Few as they are now, it took us no time at all to track it down.
That suits our purpose perfectly. Now we need only wait for Ardbert to arrive.
Weren't you two meant to be attending to the Empty?
We were indeed, and we've made a certain amount of progress. So we thought we might see how the rest of the world was getting on. From what we can gather, the answer is strangely.
Right now, we think we can do more good here.
It is heartening to have all present.
I'm surprised you didn't bring Gaia.
Indeed. We will be glad of the additional hands should matters escalate.
Our quarry has come.
It seems I've lost this particular race. Well, though I suppose it's only fair. When we first met, it was I who outpaced you. Ravana, was it? But where are my manners? I wouldn't be here were it not for you, and I have yet to say a word of thanks.
Do you wish if Seto was here?
Poor fellow. He will be sorely missed.
So the game is up here. Seto, if you need a reminder, is one of the bird people that eventually learned to talk. So, I thought you were supposed to be good at this.
Very well. Let us forego this pretense. After all, it was never you that I needed to deceive. Yes, it is I, Elizabeth. Through your time in Emet-Selk's imitation of our home, I dare say you have gained a better understanding of my role since last we met. Not that it matters.
We understand your role, emissary, but not your goal. What is it that you seek to achieve?
I seek to enact the will of the Convocation, of course. If it helps you to think of me as but another Ascian, no different in nature or purpose from the rest, you are welcome to do so.
Once, I would have said your goal was destruction alone. Now I understand that you fight for something you love, just as we do. Yet though we seem doomed to clash, I bid you consider Emet-Selk's final words. Remember that we once lived, he said. Had he not seen some glimmer of hope in our kind, I do not believe he would have spoken thus.
None better understood your plight than he. His words must surely be worthy of your consideration.
Emet-Selk. How very unlike you to err so gravely. That one should stray at the end of so onerous a path is understandable, but I had thought you above such weakness. Mayhap you thought the same. Would that I had been present to offer correction. But I shall do so now, as is my duty, and return all to its proper course. As for you, look at yourselves. Look at your history. Look back 100 short years to how your greatest warriors were undone. And now, at but a word from me, you raise your hands in answer like the puppets you are. Naught has changed. You fail, and you fail, and you learn nothing. Allow that which is most important to slip through your fumbling fingers like so many grains of sand, again and again and again, and you would remember us. You do forget yourselves. There is no common ground to be found between you and I. Nor do I require any. I have my duty.
Wait!
Well, we have confirmed the identity of our foe at least. And 'tis safe to say his objective is the rejoining.
But we still have no idea how playing the part of a warrior of light will further his cause, nor why he would spur others to do the same.
He still wants to trigger
Another
Calamity.
visit to the Tempest may shed some light upon these mysteries. Whether we are to exchange words or blows with Elidibus at our next meeting, the fact remains, we know too little. Ere our paths cross again, I would learn more of the world that once was, and of Elidibus himself. In this, we would be best served going directly to his home, much as Emmett Selk came to ours.
Though I see the wisdom in thy suggestion, the Amarot we visited is but a phantom born of Emmett Selk's memory. I fear it will teach us little that we do not already know.
I quite agree. Yet the ruins of the actual city remain unexplored. Given the vastness of the Tempest, I should not be surprised were there more such structures like to those in which the Ondo reside.
If there's aught to be learned, I want to know.
A man after my own heart.
Assuming we are all in agreement, then I suggest we first pay a visit to the Ondo. If anyone can tell us where more ruins are to be found, it is them.
Alrighty, so this time, let's grab the beef stew. Alphino has the right of it. Let us pay the visit to the Ondo. We should speak with Tolsh first. As chieftain, he is doubtless privy to a great many secrets. Alright, to the Ondo Cups we go. I have sent for no finless ones. Perhaps you come instead seeking something of us. Ruins which your kind have yet to explore. I see. I know of one such place. Alas, under these circumstances, I am afraid we can spare none to guide you there. And what circumstances are these? Rather than hunt for their own meals, the Benthos have pillaged our stores of Minier liver. They must be replenished with haste. Benthos, a particularly violent tribe of Ondo, if I recall. A band of bottom feeders. We all lost much in the flood, but while others work to rebuild, they resort to thievery and murder. Revenge, they call it, when they prey upon your kind. But do not be fooled. They care not whom they harm. Would that we had the warriors to challenge them. This is not the first time they have stolen from us, but there is no resource more precious than liver. All must dedicate themselves to the hunt. Unless, of course, we were to reclaim the livers for you. It seems a fitting payment for vital information, does it not? Moreover, one could argue that by employing Bismarck to reach these depths, thereby driving back the waters, we are in part responsible for the deeds of those driven to desperate ends by the changing climes. You certainly can't leave them like this. Speaking of, when is that air bubble supposed to go away anyway? I thought you might say that. You've never been one to miss an opportunity to help. Reclaiming the stores it is, then. We would be grateful beyond words if you did. The Benthos have surely taken the livers back to the Flounder's floor. But be warned, there will be no shortage of guards waiting to spear intruders. And we will have care not to draw their attention, shall we? So this is going to be a long flight here, since there's no teleportation crystal up there. Alright, looks like we're getting close. Thrusting your hand into each sack, in turn you find that all are filled with wheat down to the bottom. You also find that raw wheat is unpleasantly pointy. These boxes are filled with assorted vegetables. Liver is not a vegetable. What's this Shoebill doing here? The Shoebill is staring at Reen. Just staring. So those are... Okay, we got this one over here. Clammy Cask. On cursory sniff, you detect the faint aroma of fresh oranges, a far cry from the rather memorable scent of Maniri liver. How about over here? From the squelching noise they make when prodded and the vile stench, you conclude that these bags are bursting with livers. Brilliant. Are those them? Perhaps you deduced this already. It seems the Benthos have been raiding collusion storehouses as well as those of the Ondo. Oranges, pumpkins, wheat. But we can discuss this after we see the liver safely back to Tolsh's Ath. It wouldn't do to keep him in suspense. Alrighty, back to the Ondo Cups. I am relieved to see you unspeared. Let's hand it over. Our precious livers. I knew you would not fail. We also found all manner of foodstuff from Kalusia in the Flounder's floor. Tell me, Toshath, does that seem odd to you? It is brazen, to be sure. I'm reminded of rumors I've heard recently concerning a rash of thefts from collusion warehouses. The perpetrators entered in the dead of night and are gone before anyone has realized what has happened. The Yomorn army has been investigating, but thus far to no avail. Perhaps the reason they have struggled so is that their quarry is of the sea. The true question, then, is what we mean to do about it. Much as I would like to proceed to the ruins without further delay, we cannot allow the Benthos to carry on as they are. If I may, I believe that the ruins are, in fact, key to the Benthos' plans. Is that so? These ruins, which lie deep within the illuminated land, are a recent discovery. We have seen signs that the Benthos are preparing to claim them with all haste. We could not fathom why, but in light of the knowledge that they have been stockpiling resources, it is clear that their queen will soon give birth. They require space to raise their young, and food for both queen and hatchlings to thrive. Well, we can hardly fault them for that. Under normal circumstance, perhaps, but conditions in the Tempest are far from suitable for spawning. Its resources barely able to sustain our current population. There is only one reason they would disregard this. They seek to build an army, and with it take revenge on the Finless. It is not a surprise. They came to us not long ago, seeking allies for the cause. We rebuffed them, of course. The suffering of others will not serve as balm to their own. Their queen, however, desires only bloodshed, and will gladly send her children to die in our stead. If if they are planning to wage war, that changes matters considerably. Indeed. I doubt that this can be resolved without violence, but perhaps with a show of force we can convince them to see reason before the die is cast. I would rather not risk your people in the attempt. If we travel to the illuminated land, is there a way we might identify the ruins ourselves? Yes. Once you reach its depths, go deeper still. You will see a monstrous structure there upon the seafloor. That you have come to us now is the will of the Ancient Ones. They have guided you here, that you may drive out the usurpers. Those who seek to use their magnificent creations with vile purpose. I have no doubt that they will show you the way forward. I'm afraid that the dead do not speak quite so clearly. Nevertheless, we shall try not to disappoint. What we seek lieth deeper still, beyond Amaral. I would call upon the assistance of another. Though our course hath been decided, to pursue it we must needs beseech the aid of a friend. Aye, I speak of Bismarck. Pray follow me to Sullen, that we might seek an audience with him once more. I suppose it's a good idea to create yet another air pocket to make the breeding grounds unacceptable. Or the hatching grounds, rather. I believe we need to head to Fort Job, and then it's a kind of a long trip from there. Yeah, our destination is all the way over there. That reminds me, did Urianger ever take care of his deal to Bismarck? To get him cleaned up? From here we press onward to the Isle of Kent. I shall proceed on foot. Perfect your technique, then. Just so. The water will be as glass beneath my feet, and provide a purchase fragile yet true. Watch closely. Oh, I certainly shall. Forgive me, but would it not be easier to perfect your swimming technique? Aye, 'twould be a pity if you drowned, truly. Oh, hush. I'm sure it'll be brilliant. He's done it. Incredible. And he lost his focus. Urianger! For the love of... Would you like a ride in my car? Mine apologies. The technique requireth the purest of focus, and mine 'twas lacking. To perfect this magic, I went so far as to deal with the Thoth, and with their aid mine efforts finally met with success, albeit on a single occasion. I know not why I cannot repeat it. I thought I saw you wavered a bit toward the end there. Perhaps you're simply tired? Tancred. It's nothing to worry about. Only a dizzy spell. Though it may not be wise to go for another swim just now. Thankfully, we have an alternative. A wonderful little invention. I'm certain you'll agree. It's called a boat. I will petition Bismarck's aid on our behalf. Let us pray my diplomacy proveth more effective than mine experimental magics. You speak with the voice of the king, little neighbors. I will not deny you. As before, if you seek what sleeps beneath the sea, I will be your guide. Kindness is as boundless as the depths, Serene One. Before we depart, however, I would ask a favor. After our last flight, I found many creatures clinging to me. I am itchy. Remove them. I will take you below. With all haste shall it be done. Oh, did he agree? Aye, though I agreed to a favor in kind. Regrettably, 'tis not one I possess the power to grant. Bismarck hath asked us to cleanse his underbelly of barnacles. I thought you were supposed to do that after the first trip. Alas, one must needs dive beneath the surface to do so. Even if I could master the power to walk upon it, it would avail me not. Oh, for heaven's sake, is that all? Prince and I am more than capable of that. With the Kojin's blessing, we'll have done it with it in moments. And better that than standing here and listening to this nonsense. I'll take the right, you the left. Now go. I am in your debt. Alright, so looks like the first of them is down over here somewhere. After a good deal of prying from various angles, you dislodge the barnacle. Alrighty, last one. It's always kind of hard to get on him. Mine efforts are most sincerely appreciated. I will inform Bismarck that we may depart without further delay. Much, much better. Thank you, little neighbors. I remember, a long time ago, another did this favor for me. After the flood, when I chose this spot for my slumber, he came and made a home on my back. Ken was his name. When I grew itchy, I stirred, but he was not afraid. No, he asked me what was wrong. I told him of the creatures clinging to my belly, and he dove into the water. He helped me. He was my friend. He told me he wished to live in peace, away from his people and their ways, and their wars. This I understood. I treasured our time together, brief though it was, brief though it always is, but I remember him, and how he laughed when we flew. I remember when he slept. I too slept that day, and many days since. But the light fades, and the darkness returns. Ken sleeps, but in memory he laughs, and together we fly. And I am here. I am awake. It feels good to speak, and to be heard again. A shame others cannot understand me. If thou art willing to learn, I would gladly teach thee the language of man. Thank you, little friend, but it is time I grant you your request. But first, I will take flight to cleanse my body and prepare. The dive will be swift, and I would not have you struck by errant debris. But this island was named for a man. How easily the past is forgotten. He passed not even 100 years ago, yet the truth has slipped from history, like so many grains of sand. Might I have some explanation of what he just said, or shall we all stand about making vague and mysterious allusions? While he maketh ready to deliver us unto our destination, Bismarck bade us wait for him on the shore of Kalusia. That's all? I feel as though there were more to it. Indeed there was. But it hath no bearing on the task at hand. I should be glad to share the rest with you anon. Fine. Later then. If Bismarck requires time to prepare, might I suggest a short respite for Urianger and Thancred in particular? I require no such thing. I am the picture of perfect health. Mine was but a momentary lapse in concentration. Worry not on my account. You mustn't push yourself so. Please rest for me. Oh, all right, if you insist. You too, Prince. You've been running yourself ragged. Yes, ma'am. In that case, I leave the old men in your care. The rest of us will meet you at the Split Hole anon. Word of advice, never let it show. When she realizes she's struck a nerve, she remembers. By the gods, she remembers. In any case, if we must be made to rest, I know of a place in Solon that's better for it than most. Come with me. May as well have a seat. We wouldn't want our elderly knees to give out. To hear her speak, you'd think I'm on my deathbed. By the 12, I wish that girl wouldn't worry so much. Thy countenance belies thy words, Master Thancred. I'm sure I don't know what you mean. The records show that I am here under protest. Though I can't say I mind the view. What, this dreary rain? And thunderstorms? And if the abundance of anglers is any indication, even an amateur might land an impressive catch. Shall we try our hands at it? Help! Someone! Quickly! It's Nightshade. We was attacked on the road from the Crystarium. Barely escaped with my life. Suppose we might have predicted this. You mean you'll help? For free? Thank you. If I recall correctly, Nightshade is a local band of outlaws. I doubt they'll trouble us over much. No more than they already have by interrupting our relaxation, at any rate. Alright, so to the northeast. In all seriousness, I am kind of curious when this rain is gonna go away. It's been going for quite some time now. These two have matters well in hand, by the looks of it. I'll not forget this kindness. May we meet again. Is that you, sir? Don't tell me we just deprived that poor fellow of the honor of being rescued by the Warrior of Darkness. We had no idea you were in the area. Fancy us meeting again so soon, eh? Why, I believe I even recognize your companion. Ah, yes, from the infirmary. You had a message for the Crystal Exarch, did you not? It's good to see you back on your feet, and on patrol no less. Oh, it's nothing as official as all that. Strictly speaking, we're off duty. But as we had a free moment, we thought we'd give a few of the less traveled roads a look. The guard doesn't have enough hands to patrol them regularly, you see. That's admirable. There are few so devoted to their duty, in Lakeland or beyond. Well, we've been talking about it for a while, and neither of us is satisfied with just seeing out our service. It feels like we could be doing more, like we should be doing more. It's all about having the will to help your fellow man, and the resolve to see it through. I remember you, the excitable one. Is he gonna ask his name? Sorry, sir. I got a bit overexcited the other day. Couldn't get my words out. The name's Vonard, sir. I'm with the Guard, and I don't just want to protect Lakeland. I want to protect the lot, just like the Warriors of Light. Sadly, our duties prevent us from venturing too far from our own little corner of Nordfrand. What we'd really like to do is travel, to better ourselves, and go where the need is greatest. Everyone has to start somewhere, don't they? For now, if we can stop Nightshade from robbing the odd fisherman, then that's what we'll do. Oh well, future heroes of the First, do you think? They want not for spirit, 'tis but a pity they draw inspiration from so clouded a wellspring. Yet it availeth us not to fret in idleness. We must needs press on if we are to bring Elidibus' schemes to light. Alright, let's grab some determination materia. Alrighty, so once again, before we proceed on here, I'm going to be taking a quick 3 to 5 minute break here, and then once I am back, we will continue on with the main scenario quest, so please stand by.